Hello, welcome to part 2 of making the Taylor Swift folklore cardigan. Today we'll be going through part 1 of the back panel. The back panel is made up of 4 different stitches. We have the narrow left cable, white left cable and center cable. These patterns would join together to form the back of our cardigan. So the cardigan is briefly made up like this. We have the edge stitch, which is also a knit stitch. Then we have our moss, left and narrow stitches, which are all 4 rows long. And then we have the white left stitch, which is 8 rows long, and the center cable is 24 rows long. If you're following the charts in the pattern, you will walk from the right to the left. So row 1, your right side will start from the right and move to the left. Then row 2, your wrong side will start from the left and move to the right. It's sort of like the snakes and ladders game. This pattern continues for the rest of the cardigan. Of course, this information is just for those who would like to understand the pattern better. Since the rows of the patterns are not the same, you will repeat the pattern once you run out of rows for the stitches. So let's say we are on row 5 of our pattern, we will repeat row 1 for the patterns of the moss, left and narrow stitches, since those are only 4 rows long. And then we will continue on with row 5 of the white left stitch and row 5 of the center cable. Another example would be when we are on row 17. So when we are on row 17, we will do row 1 of the moss, left, narrow and white stitch, and row 17 for our center cable. This part is a bit confusing, but I hope the visual makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I'll do my best to help you. Again, this is just an explainer if you are working with the charts. So the pattern roughly goes as what is shown on the screen, and you repeat the pattern in opposite order. So it will look something like edge, moss, left, narrow, left, white, narrow, center, narrow, white, left, narrow, left, moss, edge. I would recommend putting stitch markers in your work to differentiate the stitches. However, there are some differences in the pattern when it comes to the different sizes, so please screenshot the next pages in your size so that you have an easy reference. Size SM and LXL are basically the same, except that moss stitch is repeated for 10 stitches for SM, while you repeat it for 18 stitches in LXL. For 2XL, 3XL, you have to do an extra pattern of left and narrow left before you start on your white left cable pattern. I'll remind again when we come to the stitches. Since this pattern is a lot to unpack, I will separate it into 3 parts. In this video, we will go through rows 1 to 8. If you haven't watched the first part to the folklore cardigan tutorial, I would recommend checking that video out first. I go through the basics of knitting such as the knit stitch and the purl stitch and how to read the pattern. In this video, I will only explain how to do the cable stitches. Reminder that the instructions written on the screen are for the smaller sizes, so for 2XL, 3XL, remember to repeat steps 3 and 4 before you head onto step 5. Also remember to repeat steps 11 and 12 before going on to 13. 22LC is short for 2 over, 2 left across. A 22LC has 4 stitches. To do a 22LC, move 2 stitches from your left needle onto your cable needle. Leave the cable needle at the front of your work. Knit 2 stitches from your left needle, and then knit the 2 stitches from your cable needle. Be careful not to twist the stitches. Knit them in the order that you picked up. To do a tutu LC again, move 2 stitches from your left needle onto your cable needle. Leave the cable needle at the front of your work. Knit 2 stitches from your working needle, then knit the stitches on your cable needle. A 1-1 LC is the same as a 2-2 LC, but it only uses 2 stitches instead of 4. So move 1 stitch from your working needle onto the cable needle. Leave the cable needle at the front of your work. Knit 1 stitch from your left needle, then knit the stitch from your cable needle. Move 2 stitches from your left needle onto your cable needle. Leave the cable needle at the front of your work. Knit 2 stitches from your working needle. Then knit the stitches on your cable needle. Same goes for the 3-3 LC. This stitch is worked over 6 stitches. Transfer 3 stitches from your left needle onto your cable needle. Leave the cable needle at the front of your work. Knit 3 stitches from your left needle, then knit the 3 stitches on your cable needle. Go slow with it if you need to because it can be really tight. Sometimes I find that it's easier if you transfer the stitches on your cable needle onto the left needle. Try whatever works for you, but just remember to not twist the stitches. Move 1 stitch from your working needle onto the cable needle. Leave the cable needle at the front of your work. Knit 1 stitch from your left needle, then knit the stitch from your cable needle. For the center cable, we are doing a 2-1 RPC. 2-1 RPC is short for 2 over 1 right purl across and it spans 3 stitches. To do a 2-1 RPC, transfer 1 stitch from your working needle onto your cable needle. Put the cable needle at the back of your work. Knit the next 2 stitches on your left needle. And then bring the cable needle to the front and purl the stitch. And then my camera died. So I'll show you how to do 2-1-LC with footage from a different roll, so don't worry if it looks slightly different to what you have. To do a 2-1-LC, transfer 2 stitches from your left needle onto the cable needle. Leave the cable needle at the front of your work. Knit 1 stitch from your working needle. Then knit the 2 stitches on your cable needle. I'll leave the rest of the steps here if you need to pause the video. To do a 2-1 RPC, transfer one stitch from your working needle onto your cable needle. Move the cable needle to the back of your work. Knit the next 2 stitches on your left needle. Bring the cable needle forward and purl the stitch. To do a 2-1 LC, transfer 2 stitches onto your cable needle and leave it at the front. Knit 1 stitch from your left needle, then knit 2 from your cable needle. So I made a mistake in this row, so don't follow me. Just stick to the written instructions on the screen. I managed to fix my mistake in the next row with a crochet hook, so it's all good. To do a 2-1 RPC, transfer one stitch from your working needle onto your cable needle. Move the cable needle to the back of your work. Knit the next 2 stitches on your left needle. Bring the cable needle forward and purl the stitch. To do a 2-1 LC, transfer 2 stitches onto your cable needle and leave it at the front. Knit 1 stitch from your left needle. Then knit 2 from your cable needle. Yay! We're done with the first 8 rows of our back panel. Hopefully I'll finish the next 8 sometime in the next 5 months.